Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Deck Tech for Decks. Today we are going to be doing a deck tech on Zaxara the Exemplary. But before we get started, let me ask you a question. How many times have you been trying to play your fun green deck, cast your big creatures and just go off, but the blue player says F that, you get to resolve what I say you can resolve? Well, this deck's going to spit on that deck. We're taking our turn on everybody else's turn. We're just going to be holding up X counter spells and X draw spells. If we don't have to counter anything, we'll draw cards, and if they try to do something to our board, we're going to counter it. And then while we're doing that, we're creating a massive board state because we are running Deacon, Fractal Theorist, Shark Typhoon, and Zaxara himself. So when it comes back to our turn, we're just going to have massive creatures. So if this sounds like an interesting deck to you, let's get into the deck tech. Let's get into those counter spells. We have Clash of Wills, Condescend, Logic Knot, Thassa's Intervention, Syncopate, and Power Sync. Broken Ambitions. Now, what we want to do with these is counter a spell and just sink all of our mana into it. That way we get a huge Hydra, and then as soon as they pass turn, hopefully we'll be able to untap our lands and do it to that player. And then by the time it gets back to us, we just have a massive board state, and they have nothing because we countered it. Now, I'm not saying go off and counter everything. Don't be like that blue player. But if they're trying to mess with what you're doing, you can, counter it conscience-free, kind of. You know what I mean? We then have Plasm Capture, Mana Drain, Spell Swindle, and Jin Kataxis, Power Tyrant. What I like about this is it's also going to double your card draw spells and all your other X spells that we play. So that's going to be really good. We then have Hullbreaker Horror. Hullbreaker Horror is just going to make it to where you can cast your card draw spells and counter their spell instead of a counter spell. So that's the core of the deck right there. Getting into card draw, we have Silver Scrutiny, Finale of Revelation. This one's just in there so we don't have to worry about our hand size. Commander's Insight, Stroke of Genius, Blue Sun Zenith, Diviner's Portion, Even the Score, Pull from Tomorrow, and Read the Ruins. Most of those are instants, and like I said, that's what we're trying to do. Just take turns on our opponent's turns, drawing cards. We have Cut the Profit, just because that's too good not to include it. Hydroid Crisis, again, too good. Greater Good, I really like this card, because sacking those massive tokens just to draw 10 cards is going to feel so good. And then Kindred Discovery, because this is a tribal deck. Alright, let's get into how we're going to make those X spells massive. We have Nexos. This was printed in the pre-cons for Commander 40k, and it is an amazing include to any X spell deck. If you didn't get one, proxy it. Magic's okay with printing $1,000 proxies, so I don't see there being a problem with you ordering a proxy that you really couldn't get your hands on. We have Elementalist Palette. This one's amazing because think about it. It doesn't care if you casted the X spell with this to up the counters on it. So you're just going to be upping the counters on it, and then by the time it gets back to your turn, you're going to be tapping this for 4 mana. We have Kodama of the West Tree. First of all, it gives all of your Hydras trample, and then all of those Hydras are going to be giving you a land from your deck every turn. This guy's insane in the deck. We have Savala, Heart of the Wild. Just tap her, add mana equal to your biggest creature. Illuminor Saras. Again, this is another one from those pre-cons, but it's too good not to include it in this deck. Sacrifice your biggest Hydra, and then boom, cast a massive spell. We have your standard stuff, Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Rampant Growth, and then this is the fun part, Burgeoning and Exploration. Imagine taking a turn on all of their turns, and then you get to play a land whenever they do. They're going to get so annoyed so fast. It's just going to be a really fun deck. And then finally, Oracle of Moldiah. This one is sneaky good. I mean, I don't even think it's sneaky good. It makes it to where you're constantly able to draw the best cards in your deck. You don't want to have to draw a land card every turn. Sometimes you need one, but imagine if you're just playing all the lands from on top of your library. That way you're going to get into a creature, card draw, or something, some form of advantage other than just land. It's amazing. And then Soul Ring. We're running a lot of counter spells, but we still do have a little bit of removal in the deck. We have Cyclonic Rift, Toxic Deluge, and Black Sun Zenith for the Wrath. We then have Steelbane Hydra because it's really good, and then Retribution of the Ancients. This card's sneaky good. I don't see a lot of people playing it, but it literally makes it to where you can just start killing all your opponent's creatures just by lowering the counters. Like, you could cast one spell, let's say it's a 10/10 Hydra, and you could wipe someone's board theoretically with that. Guys, let's get into the fun part of the deck. We are running Mana Bloom. This card's amazing. You basically spend 1 mana to create a giant Hydra. We then have Unbound Flourishing. If you spend the 1 mana to create that giant Hydra with Mana Bloom, Unbound Flourishing will then double your mana. After that, let's throw in Doubling Season or Edrix and Nev. I'm not saying go out and buy a $90 card, but I'm saying if you already have one, definitely throw it in this deck. We are then running Torment of Hellfire. This one's so satisfying to cast no matter how big or little X is. And if X is big enough, it'll end the game. Another card where if we make X big enough, it'll end the game is Exsanguinate. This one will also just save your life if you're close to dying, because you gain all life for each opponent, right? So it can get pretty crazy. We then have Pathbreaker Ibex. This one, again, it'll end the game, right? So if you have just a couple tokens, Pathbreaker Ibex will be able to lead you to victory. Alright, Gerard Gilgori Lichlord. This guy sacrificed your biggest creature and then they're going to take damage equal to that. I've cast this card and then won that turn before. Change of Plans. This one's good because when a token phases out, it doesn't lose any of its counters. You don't have to throw it into the graveyard. It's still there. So if someone tries to wipe your board, you don't have a counter spell open, cast this and all your board's going to be fine. We then have Finale of Devastation. Like I said, cast this, get Pathbreaker Ibex, win the game. Green Sun Zenith, not as good, but it's still really good in the deck. Colonial Hydra, this one just kind of like sits there and people look at it and they just see a double and double more. Everybody knows it's a problem, but no one wants to do anything about it. This card's amazing. Colonial Hydra. This one, they'll try to remove it as soon as they see it. This card's insane, and it cannot live for very long without ending the game. We then have Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves. Lastly, I just wanted to cover a few lands. We have Alchemist's Refuge. This is going to give all your non-land permanents flash. Cabal Coffers and Orborg. This is the cheapest the combo's been in a while. I mean, used to what it takes to cost or get both the cards, it was just one of the cards, so I'd pick it up if you don't have it, and if you already picked it up, definitely throw it in this deck. Alright guys, that'll do it for the deck tech. I hope you enjoyed, and please like and subscribe. This is a new channel, so all your support is appreciated.